ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We are hyped, baby. Get ready. I don't care who likes it or who doesn't. We are hyped today here in this live stream, so don't bring that bullshit to the stream. Thank you. Let's hit you guys with a little bit of monetization, even though it only makes about $1. Every dollar, they say every dollar saved is $1 earned, but in this case, a couple ads will do you good. Are we ready to go, baby? Are we ready? Woo! Woo! Let's go! Markets are a little red. Little red. Hold your puts tight. It's a go time. How are we doing? How are we looking? Looking beautiful out there, ladies and gentlemen. Little slow to the comment section. Win Lambo. Win Lambo. What's up, T-Man? Is it Monday yet? That's the best comment I ever heard. Because that's exactly what I was thinking. Is it Monday yet? Not quite, but we got some interesting things going on right here in the futures market, though. Some very interesting things. Dow, S&P, Nasdaq, everything red, but oil down over 3%. That's I wouldn't say confusing part about this, but to see everything down right now is a little worrisome, I guess you could say, for any potential continuation of this rally. Typically, oil is up when the markets are down and vice versa. So, it's good. It's good. There we go, baby. Dan the Man, JR, Edward Morgan. Can't wait for Monday morning. You and Cheese Chaser, brother. Let's go. Eric Cuddle in the building. What do we think for this week? What are you guys thinking? Everything's kind of solid red. It's not too much variation from the Nasdaq and the Dow, but oil down 3.21% with an OPEC meeting coming this week. Jeez, 3% move down. What is the oil OPEC? Is it Wednesday? Hold on. OPEC. Core PCE. That's on Wednesday. That's going to be a very important catalyst. And that's going to be a doozer, as well as GDP. That's going to be big. Crude oil inventories also going to be important for oil. Is OPEC on Thursday? Or am I just not seeing it? Is it Friday? OPEC meeting. Okay, this is on Thursday. There we go. Finally. OPEC meeting. I believe 6 a.m. Is that 6 a.m.? I'm not exactly sure how they do their timing here, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Woo! Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Any new stocks you like? Well, I'm glad you asked. I think NILE, ticker symbol NILE, has some really good risk to reward properties with it. I'm probably gonna buy some options on that. It's not a for sure gonna make you money, but the options are so cheap. You can get a January 24 50-cent call for $69. The stock's trading at 82, so it's technically in the money by what? $30 some right now, $32. So your break even's $1.19. You have like almost 2 years on the contract, and it's getting some hype and some momentum. So I like that one, but it's got more time. It's not as sexy as a weekly, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, but I think it could be good. It's your boy Wildcard Central in the house. Welcome, welcome. Julie Miller. There we go. If Julie's in here, it's official. It's official. Boom Boom Candles to the Moon. I ain't coming back, in my opinion. Yeah, AMC. I hope you guys watched the video. I actually left a blooper in this video, but this one, AMC could 10x this week if history repeats, because it's very simple. We'll look at this, right? So pay attention to this. You came down, you went on 2 little rallies in here, and then you hit a lower low. Very straightforward, just looking at the charts here. Now, if you go back to January, and if you guys watched the video earlier, then you already know this, but if you go back to January, you have the same exact picture happening in here, right? You come down, you get these small little rallies, you come down to lower lows, and then shit just hits the fucking fan, and you 10x. It's that simple. Now, the 50-day moving average, this blue line, you broke above that, found a little bit of resistance around there. You broke above that, found resistance off the 100-day moving average, and then the next day gapped up above that. Now, history does not always repeat itself, but it usually does rhyme. So, you know, I wouldn't go off of specific dates. You know, we might retest the 100-day moving average a couple days instead of just one. But, you know, the technical setup here is the exact same as what we were seeing. We are above the 50-day moving average, though, and in my personal opinion, we're going to retest the 100-day moving average at the very minimum this week, and probably break out above that, and that's at $24.66 per share. So that's a straightforward, just basic look at it, but we have more going for us now than we did back then. Right? There was no liquidity crisis. There was no liquidity crunch that was going on at this time. The Fed gave you every reason in the world to buy stocks. You were crazy if you didn't buy stocks during 2020 and 2021. Crazy. The biggest thing I've ever learned, and this is a golden nugget for everybody, so make sure you pay attention to these words. The biggest thing I ever learned with trading that totally changed the game for me was not looking back, but looking ahead. And I you know, people get so in their heads about what the chart used to look like. The stock used to trade at 100, so it has to go back to 20 or 50 or 100. Not the case. You know, COVID broke out in 2020. A lot of people were thinking like, hey, you know, what if that happens again? And looking back in history, instead of looking ahead like, hey, the Fed's going to be accommodative this whole time. The markets are not falling. The Fed's going to do what they got to do to prop up the markets. Now, that's the biggest thing that has helped me. And that's what continues to help me in my trading. It's like trying to figure out what the markets have already priced in and what the markets are looking ahead to. The markets are a forward-looking instrument. They don't give a shit what happened yesterday. They care about what happened today. So a little golden nugget there. I actually thought about it on the car ride home from my real estate meeting, and was thinking like, you know, this is something I need to tell everybody because it's really helped me out a lot. Like probably one of the biggest factors in trading. But it's good. Oh, I've been hearing chatter in the pipes on NLE. Yep, options. LOL. Yeah, I think it's is it NLE? This one's NILE. Is there a different one? I want to make sure we're talking about the same thing. Nimble Storage, NLE? No, that's not right. So you probably meant NILE. Yeah, NILE's it's like the 5th most talked about stock on Stock Twits and Reddit and all of that. Actually, let's go to Stock Twits. Let's see what's the action like over there because I have not looked. I think it's just, you know, an attractive risk to reward. They're also doing a spinoff, kind of like BBIG. So it's one of those things where, you know, eventually here in the next couple of months, maybe the next year, there will be that catalyst coming. So that's why I want to get a lot of time on it. And it's one of those things you know is coming. You don't know when, but it's coming. Site cannot be reached. Are we live? Is my connection messing up? Are we live? Someone say we're live. Someone let me know. YouTube's been playing with me lately. I think it's Russia. We're getting cyber attacked. It's all good though. Ready? I'm ready for Mullen, Amy, and BBIG, HYMC to make me money. HYMC, that one might rally hard tomorrow. The Ortex data is quite insane. Yeah, see, I don't know why it says 7% short interest, because it was just higher than that. March 15th, it was at 41.24%. Maybe they did dilute shares. I'm not exactly sure what the situation is with that. But the real short interest, upwards of 40% likely. Cost to borrow numbers are insane. Utilization has come down a little bit, but I mean, the news that they got here over the weekend with Adam Aaron's tweet should have a lot of people excited about HYMC. That's one I might look to actually trade a little bit. Every time you look back in history, you'll see where the Feds, the inflation and interest, everything comes full circle and then does it again. Yeah, it's all a big cycle. Like here in the next year or two, you'll see the Fed cutting rates again when inflation goes down or the economy heads into a deep recession. It happens over and over again. Like this is the time where you really want to be more careful about what you're buying and know what you're buying, because some stocks, they've come down and they will not recover. That's the or it could be a very long time. That's the thing about it. Like even the weed stocks, like I like to make this a point, like they can be good trades and all, but if you bought in 2017 like I did, and if I had just sat there and held on to my shares, like Tilray used to be $150 stock. Now it's $850, and that was without anything, right? Like I don't even think this has had a reverse split or anything. This thing used to be in like the 150s. So you just want to know what you're getting yourself into, more or less. Not trying to just call out the weed stocks here, because it happens all the time. Say, yes, live. We're live. They did dilute. Oh, okay. That'll be interesting. If they diluted, that's not good, but we'll see. We'll see with that kind of short interest. Almost gave me a Woody at 62. That's funny. I also want to watch the bonds too, if we can see. Bond yields going down a little bit. Interesting. So that's gonna be your the more these fall, the more of a pretty much panic move that you will see. If they go up, that's people selling out of them. Oil is coming up a little bit. Everything is. It's weird how correlated oil and the futures are right now. Everything's red. That typically hasn't been happening. Not too much. Yeah, NILE only has almost a 9% short interest, though. 75% cost to borrow. Pretty interesting. Did you guys see what Biden said this weekend? I've missed you, bro. Been a minute. Thoughts on Mullen Monday? Well, we missed you. I personally missed you. Mullen, like the more that I look into the company and the more that I think about where the valuation is and what could potentially happen with the stock, the more I get excited about just holding it. Like, yeah, I'll sell covered calls against my position, sure, but I think it's kind of that one where you'll look back potentially 3 to 5 years down the line and you're like, damn, I should have invested in it, or I should have held my money in it. My thoughts, it could go either way here in the short term. They're going to have to raise capital, and that's my biggest concern with it. that when they do inevitably raise capital, dilute shares. I always say raise capital. That just means diluting shares in my eyes. Then you're going to see a sharp move down, and that can happen anytime. That could happen pre-market, it could happen mid-trading, it could happen during a short squeeze. Like, that's the biggest concern, and the last thing that I want is people to lose money because of that. So I've been trying to make that clear. Other than that, I think it'll do well. I don't really think there's too many negatives for it, really, besides that. Because if you think about it, I seen a stat, which, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but driving an EV is like 3 to 5 times cheaper since gas has went up. Maybe I'm wrong on the stat right there, but that's what I heard, 3 to 5 times cheaper. So a lot of these EV stocks might see more capital for a while just flow into them. Wouldn't surprise me. And the numbers are still really high. 15.7% short interest, cost to borrow max of 55.4%, utilization of 100%. And the way that I kind of look at this is if the utilization is 100% and the cost to borrow rate is 14% on the low end, 55% on the high end, that's kind of telling you that people that hold on to the stock don't want to lend it out for 14 to 55%. So what does that inevitably mean? That they think the stock is going to move more than 14 to 55%. That's the way that I kind of look at it, and you've seen a correlation there with utilization being 100%, cost to borrow being high, and the stock at least going up. Like, that's what's so crazy about even AMC. The cost to borrow isn't that crazy, but nobody wants to lend out their stock. Nobody wants to lend it out. It's the simple truth. I don't even know how long it's been 100% utilization, but it's been like this for weeks now. Weeks. Now the cost to borrow minimum 0.5% negative. They're saying at the minimum you could get paid to lend out AMC stock. That's bullshit. Ortex has bullshit numbers sometimes. That's the truth. They're the best, in my opinion, for a reasonably inexpensive data provider. It's like $700 for a year if you pay for it at once, like $1,000 for a year if you pay for it monthly. You guys can get it for yourselves if you want to. That's roughly the price that it costs. So it's good for the price, but some of their numbers, like the cost to borrow, you really got to take it with a huge grain of salt. There's no way you're getting paid 0.5% to borrow AMC stock. There's no way on that. But cost to borrow max of 3.5%. Again, bullshit. You're not going to be able to lend out or get shares to sell short for 3.5%. But the utilization staying at 100% is very, very good. And the option activity. I hope you guys realize this. I don't know how many people actually go over this in videos. I don't see a lot of people talking about it. So I like to make it a point to go over it because these are your institutional investors. And, a lot of people have this mentality, which for good reason, that the hedge funds, they're all against us. Well, that's not actually the case. Some of them are, some of them are not. So I want to pay attention to what are the people that are not against us, that want to make money off of what we're doing. What are they doing with their money? And what they're doing with their money is loading up on AMC options. Now, you're seeing a expiration for April 1st, $26 strike call, obviously, for $21 or $29.1 thousand. They bought 549 contracts for $53 a piece. Now, actually, I do want to compare and see what these options closed at. I'm sure they closed positively. April 1st, so that's Friday. A hedge fund bet $30 or $30,000. The AMC will be $26.50 at minimum by this upcoming Friday. And they are pretty much break even on that trade. Pretty much. Another April 1st, $21.50 put. April 8th, $18.50 put. June 17th, $30 call. Spent $60,000 on that. And April 1st, $20 call. Spent $57,000. $16 call. $16. Those all expired Friday. Let's see. May 20th, $20 call, spent $136,000. April 1st, $23 call, spent $35,000. May 20th, $40 call, spent $25,000. April 8th, $21 call, spent $72,000. And factoring in the break evens here, like this $21 call position for April 8th, their real break even is about $23.41 for that trade. So it's not actually where the strike is. $22 call, $20 call, $50 calls for June. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4 trades from the same institution. I would bet they all went in. 3 of these in the same minute. The next one crossed into the next minute. So 4 trades pretty much back to back. They wanted to get into these positions very fast. About $25,000 a piece. So about $100,000. Betting AMC will go to $50, $51.16 to be a matter of fact for the break even on that. April 1st, a lot of activity. You guys get the point. Lots of activity that is going on with very high dollar amounts as well, like a $5 call for January 2024, $50 call for January 2023. And they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on this, like $264,000 on a $5 call for January 2024. That's telling you something. And they paid $17.20 premium. So their real break even on that is what? $22.20? $22.20 by 2024. That's might be the best way to play it if honestly, if you do have a lot of money. But all of virtually all of this is call activity. Virtually all of it. For some trades, $500,000, right? This, that's actually a put. Scratch that. But lots of calls. And in total, 1 week, 81% positive order value, 262 orders totaling $123.91 million. For Friday alone, 53 orders totaling $22.07 million. Positive order value of 92%. That means out of all the institutional activity, the positive ratio here, right? If there was $100 that went into AMC stock, then 92 of that, $92 was positive, $8 was a bearish bet. Look at it like that. It's insane how bullish some institutions and hedge funds are on AMC stock right now. Leo Tyler, should an individual opt out of saying a broker prompted stock lending program asking for a friend? A broker promoted stock lending program asking for a friend. Yeah, I don't like to get involved with too much of that. As little as the brokerages can have on me personally, I like that. Like, I don't lend out stock. I don't have none of that stuff turned out or turned on. I don't lend out stock, personally. If that answers the question, I'm not exactly sure, but my homie Young Biden. Yeah, you want to see Young Biden? Look at Young Biden. Biden job approval rating hits its lowest point of presidency. Most think U.S. headed in wrong direction. Well, I was joking at the real estate meeting because, Michigan people for the most part, they're pretty much on the same page. They still think Biden or Trump's president, right? So you can fuck around with them. I'm like, and I'm totally neutral, but I just thought it was funny. Maybe it was a bad joke. I'm like, man, Biden actually, I think he broke a record. I said he made gas prices go up the fastest any president ever has. I'm like, man, it's kind of true. It's kind of true. And then Biden to propose new 20% minimum billionaire tax on, I believe it's unrealized gains. So that's not going to help the markets. Look at young Biden. Slow down, dude. Hedgies have until Tuesday night to hedge the calls that were in the money Friday. I mean, that's with the T. Yeah, I guess so if you want to get technical, but that doesn't. That's not like a 100% thing, if that makes sense. It's not a everybody has 2 days. Like if you did that, you would have had to do it in after hours. That's why you see those moves in after hours a lot. You guys don't realize that? That's why you've seen a move up 1.68%. If you've ever got exercised on a contract, if you've sold a covered call before and got exercised on that, it happens in after hours. That's why you'll see these moves in after hours. That's why the stock was up 1.68%. Now, some people, obviously, if you have more influence in that sphere and you'll put it in, the banks will let you put that risk on them for a while, then sure, they'll let you do that. But that's why you see these moves. Like if you ever see a move like that on Friday, you know it's options getting assigned, because technically the banks are taking that risk. If AMC gaps up Monday or Tuesday up 100%, and the hedge fund don't have money to do what they got to do, then that's where the banks take the risk. Don't forget about George Bush gas prices. Didn't that take a while though? I feel like that took a while. So maybe Bush, maybe Bush holds the record on that. Cause I remember I wasn't driving at the time. I was younger, but I remember people complaining about it. And somebody said, do you think you'd go to Samura or Tyler? What's the chance of AMC will go to $500 realistically? I think I'm biased on this question because, like, statistically, it's probably not the greatest chance. But given what we know, and my personal opinion is it's going to happen. The question is, what kind of situation do we find ourselves in? Do the brokerages, the banks, they have to halt trading for a couple days? What is going to come out of that? We've never seen a situation where a stock has had this much attention, this much fraudulent shit going on with it at a time where the Fed is doing what they're doing and there's no stability really in the markets. You've never seen this before, so it's really hard to say definitively, but I personally think so. Yeah, the question is, when is it going to happen? Yeah. Tickle that like pickle. I like that. Tickle that like pickle. They can't tax unrealized gains. I think they know it, but they'll say it, in my opinion. I mean, how do you even go about doing that? Yeah, that's the problem. That makes the whole thing hard, because if you did tax the unrealized gains, and what if you made more or lost on that? You'd get a big tax write-off, or it just doesn't make a lot of sense. But there's better ways to get around that, honestly. The billionaire minimum income tax would assess a 20% minimum tax on U.S. households worth more than $100 million. Over half the revenue could come from those worth more than $1 billion. Not good for stocks, I'll tell you that. Because anybody that thinks this might happen are going to find ways around it, and probably a lot of that is getting out of the markets, probably. Tell them to short it and find out. Yeah, I would never short anything retail is a part of. I think that is way too risky, and I think that goes to show that hedge funds kind of, how do I say it? Like the lack of intelligence they have, or maybe they're just naive about the retail group, but you're crazy to bet against retail. You've lost your damn mind. Breaking news, Powell just announced free Bud Light at 4 p.m. tomorrow for all Americans. That would be great. That would be a welcoming statement from Powell. The last couple of weeks, couple of months, I should say, haven't been too good. But how do you guys feel about the markets? How do you guys feel about the markets? And then I'll give you my take. Does anyone feel good? Does anybody feel like we're going to all-time highs, baby? Are we breaking out the money printers and cranking them motherfuckers now, or not? They just can't tax that kind of gains. Yeah, if AMC hits 1K, what would that do to inflation? I don't really think it would do anything to inflation. Like, the problem with inflation, it's not actually, I know this is going to tick some people off, it's not actually real. There's never an actual lack of supply of something. Never. There just never is. If there is, you truly see like people, you would see a lot of people like starve if there was a real lack of food. There's never been a real lack of food. It's obviously revolves around money. So when it comes down to it, inflation is only expectations, right? Like the place that I used to work for, that I still know people that work there, a restaurant, and I still work there sometimes, but it's not all the time. They just raise prices, and they're going to again in a couple months because inflation's high and people expect it. It's not like a, wow, you raise prices, oh, we're gonna go somewhere else. No, it's, you raise price because people expect it. So it's not actually real in that sense. It's not like an external factor. It's more of an internal factor within many businesses that say, hey, inflation's here because there's been this chain reaction. People got more money and they're willing to pay more. So yeah, we're just going to keep raising prices. So I don't really think AMC going up would cause inflation in that sense. Just breathing affects him. I would say at this point, just breathing definitely affects inflation. That's an accurate statement. Because we need value in the dollar since it has zero true value like it used to. Yeah, it's really only backed by oil. We can get away with low inflation because we have the petrodollar. So what really should concern people, which has not really registered in a lot of people's minds, is countries that are exchanging oil without using dollars. Like who was it? Was it Saudi Arabia that said they might start using euros? That's when we have a real problem, because the world will suck up all our extra dollars. That's why we can print 25% of our money in 2 years and only see 7% inflation. Now, I know inflation is way higher than that. That's the government rating. But still, if any other country printed 25% of their money, like, say, Brazil or Mexico, which a lot of them have, they're seeing inflation rates that are much higher. It's not because our paper is worth more than their paper. It's because they need our paper for to buy oil. And when that happens here in the next, it's happening at a pretty fast rate now. So 5 to 10 years, that's when inflation really starts to hurt. And that's why I say, buy real estate, buy stocks, buy assets. Even, I hate to say it, because you're not going to get rich doing this, but have a little bit of gold too if you're really worried about it. Because tangible things like your house, even though you bought it today for 200 grand, now it's worth 2 million in the future because dollars are more rampant. There's more of them. And I think that goes, without saying. Inflation will pay off your debt here in the next 20 years. Like, inflation is here to stay the more we get disconnected from oil. That's the key. So the more you see that, like China, what is it? China and Russia exchanging oil in euros. I know that one. That's where you really start to get problems with the U.S. dollar. And the U.S. dollar has already lost 95% of its value in the last 100 years. So it's not good. It's not good. Even what Charlie Munger just said 2 weeks ago, he said the best bet an investor can make right now is the U.S. dollar going to zero in the next 100 years. He's basically saying buy shit. Buy shit. Like, There's so much paper money in the hordes of America. It drug lord saves worldwide. That's true. That's true. There's a lot of money out there in different things. Or Uncle Lou saying they don't have to pay like that's legal. He's not my uncle. I would say, man, what are you doing? You can't say shit without having proof. That's what I would tell him. That's what I would tell him. If he was my uncle. I'd be like, man, take that video down. But, imagine killing someone and telling the cops I'm not going to prison. That's what he is saying. No, they have to pay you. They have to pay you. That's like a, like when you buy something, it's basically like a contract, right? You buy a stock and you have the right to sell it. The only thing where it's like a gray line is like something with like RSX. I got clapped on that. I lost like $500. Well, I'm going to, because they shut down the markets, because it's a Russian ETF and there was no way to properly value the ETF because their stocks weren't trading. So there's things like that. But when it comes to AMC, that's simply not going to happen. Now, they can halt it for a while, and who knows exactly what they do when they halt it, but you will still get paid. It's not like if the stock was $100, you're gonna wake up after a halt and it's 20. Like, that's not gonna happen. But they've kind of been letting stocks trade recently. I haven't seen many halts out there. Like, even volatility halts, I have not been seeing too many. Like, even SNDL and all those. If they just go up at a steady rate and it's not a straight up motion, you won't even see a halt. You know? Get the fuck out. Apparently, Will Smith just punched Chris Rock in the face during the Oscars. How do you think the markets will... What? Bro. Say you're lying. Say that's some weird analogy. That's hilarious. What are the chances we send a sniper over and take out Putin? Probably decent. I mean, I would imagine the government's looked into that. I would imagine. Dude, I was watching some videos on YouTube about like Russians going to McDonald's the last day that it was going to be open. It was packed and everybody was pissed off because they just got their shit taken away from them. How come they can make all the money in the world then? I want everything from them. He's saying they won't pay for the shares. You can't just not pay for the shares. That's not how it works, because who else would pay for the shares? The brokerage? They're not doing that. That's why there's collateral. And that's why like best way to imagine it, it's a little bit different because obviously when you're doing this, you don't have to pay interest, but it's like you selling a put or selling a call. You have to either get out of that position or agree to fulfill that contract. No other way around that. It's the same thing for people that are shorting stocks. Besides, they have to pay an interest rate to short that stock. But at the same time, when you sell a call, you're putting up 100 shares as collateral. You can't sell a call and then go sell your shares unless theoretically you had enough money to still buy 100 shares, right, at that price. Don't want to get too complicated on you guys, but same thing if you sell a put, a $20 AMC put, you sell that, you agree to buy 100 shares at $20 per share, you have to put up $2,000 or you can't make the trade. It goes the same way when you're shorting stocks. You have to put up collateral, and that collateral bar moves around a lot. Now you just seen, on top of that, you just seen the rates, the margin rates go up. So that bar, when it fluctuates, and say AMC stock starts to really rally like it has 31% over the last week, it's not going to take as much to force shorts out of their short positions, because that collateral, you either got to deposit more or cover and use that collateral to basically cover on that short position. There's no way you can get out of not paying. Like there's no way around that. It would come down to like hedge funds insurance, right? Because everything has to have insurance. So that would either pay you out, or the brokerages would have to. And that's the last thing they're gonna do is take a hit for hedge funds. Did he really punch him? There's the headline. Will Smith confronts Chris Rock, intense moment. Dune and where is it? Let me see. What happened? They look like they're laughing. Oh, it's a setup. They're playing. Will Smith slaps actor Chris Rock on stage during the 94th Oscars at the Dolby Theater. Let's go, baby! Dude, I feel it. Respect. It says Will Smith took umbrage with a joke made by Chris Rock during the Academy Award ceremony Sunday, marching up on stage and slapping Rock amid presentation of the award for Best Documentary. Rock poked fun at Smith's wife Jada Pinkett Smith for her bald head. Pinkett Smith has openly talked about having a hair loss condition. Smith reportedly yelled at Rock to keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. This is not the first time that Rock has poked fun at the couple. He made public jabs about their decision to boycott the 2016 Oscars because of a lack of diversity in nominations. It kind of looks like he's laughing. That's funny. Wow. The markets tank. That would be a wild correlation. But yeah. And then only 40% of Americans approve young Biden. Just 40% of Americans approve of the job that he is doing. An NBC News survey finds the lowest rating Biden has seen in his presidency. Sad Biden. Sad young Biden. Damn it. Nah, peep the video. Where's the video? Trust me, I want to see the video. Is it on YouTube? Or, Twitter. Twitter's got the video, huh? Twitter's got it. Who's got it, though? I don't even care if it demonetized the video. I don't even care. We're watching it. Don't care. Welp, I'm sorry if you're offended. Is that what he said? That's funny. He's a G. Is this the guy? No, this ain't the guy. This ain't Will Smith. This is some white guy. Damn it. Is that Will Smith? No, that ain't Will Smith. Fuck. Oh, is this the video? Quit playing. Just sent it to you? Where'd you send it to me on? Oh, let's go, baby.
Oh, wow.
What?
Wow. Will Smith.
Why they cut the volume off? Why'd they cut the volume off?
Will Smith.
Bro, where's the volume? Get out of here.
Wait to see it. All right?
Is this it? Cut it off on purpose? I'm kind of mad right now. Look at everybody's face. Sorry guys, we'll get back on topic, but this is funny. I just want to hear like what he says. Like, keep my wife's name out of your mouth or whatever. That's it. Furiously smacks the shit out of Chris Rock on my Oscars. Bingo card and now incredibly rich. Okay. I like it. Nothing's loading now. That's good. Hell yeah. I'd have slapped the shit out of him too. Oh man. The whole stage turned awkward as hell. They're like, yep, I think this is over. Oh man. Oh. That's crazy. This guy's like, yeah, I gotta record this. This is Twitter worthy. Fucking right. Well, then you got young Biden over here. Everything's kind of just down. Not really doing too much. Yields are going up. So I guess that's good. I mean, not really in the sense of that divergence is getting stronger, but Clove, what do you think of Clove? I think I think Clove's a pretty attractive risk to reward as far as a trade. I'm not sure on actually investing in it for a while. You've seen the multiple compression that has hit everything, really, besides like Apple. Apple has not really gotten hit with any multiple compression or a lot of the large cap stocks. But sitting at $3.50, it's come up a little bit. I was looking at it in the $2 range, so I'm not as excited about it right now, but it's in this channel ever since it hit the low. I mean, I didn't do anything to this chart. This is from the last time I talked about it. It's definitely in this channel to the upside, but just see, if it breaks down under this level or does break out above the actual channel, that's when it might be good to enter a short-term position. But I don't have any long-term hope for it, I guess is what I would say. If stocks like this, if they don't become profitable, I'm not sure when they are expected to be, but if they don't, and if growth rates slow down even a little bit, I mean, it'll just keep going down. Funk them both, though, for real. Yeah, it does look kind of fake the way that it was, but he was laughing, and then, and then it was not so funny. He's like, man, now I gotta do it to you. He's like, Jada gonna leave me again, bro. I gotta do it. I gotta slap the shit out of you on live TV. She's gonna be like, man, I'm out of here. That's what really happened there. Anyways, about AMC. Yeah, enough of good old Will Smith. But yeah, if you're looking at this too, this is something that's very important that I talked about in the video earlier today. It's the bond to stock divergence. Usually there is a divergence where like stocks will go up, bonds will go down, but it's happening at a very aggressive pace. So usually when it happens like this, you tend to see it correct itself back out, and you tend to see the markets go down, or whichever way it needs to correct, it will correct in a pretty violent way. So wouldn't surprise me to see the markets come down this week, and then bonds come up just a little bit. I mean, mortgage rates. If you guys are unaware, the mortgage rates are up 0.5% in the last week. What? This never happened before. At least not in recent history. That's insane. NILE being pumped up all weekend. What up, baby? I don't know if you were here, but NILE is a pretty interesting one. Oh yeah, stock twits. NILE, let's pump it up. Y'all ready? One part of me is so glad that I'm not like millions of subscribers, which that'll be great. God willing, we'll get there. But I wouldn't be able to talk about stocks like this if I was, because then I'd have the SEC up my ass. But that's a good one. Will Smith smacking Chris Rock is how I'm going to be slapping the ass in the morning. Let's go. Mullen opening up hot Monday. Man, I really like you, Mike Brown. You're a cool cat. Is that okay to say in the year 2022? I said that to my girlfriend maybe like 2 years ago, and she's like, cool cat? What? I'm like, man, I thought it was cool. That's what I used to say. But yeah, you're a cool cat, brother. Mullen, you did see that move down in Mullen premiums have actually come down quite a bit too. Mullen, yeah, you've seen that 21.67% move down. If there was a time I would think, oh shit, what'd I do? That would, see a bounce back. It's probably right about now. If we're being honest, you're still up, but you're still down overall. And I think there's going to be a lot of, I guess call it bullish pressure on a lot of EV stocks, just because, when gas prices go up, I bet you are thinking a little bit more about an EV vehicle now. Think about it like that. So investors, they want to be first to the action, and I think it'll boast well for any EV stocks. Mullen, it does have the lower float. It does need to raise capital. That's my issue. So if they don't raise capital tomorrow, it's going to be really good. But that slap, though, did sound like it hurt a little bit. Oh, fuck. All penny stocks rock at some point. Enjoy the bleed. No, they do. And I'm 100% honest on that. Penny stocks are penny stocks for a reason. No doubt about that. Like, for me to honestly sit here and invest in a penny stock for like the long term, I gotta have a good reason. It's gotta meet certain criterias. And Mullen, it doesn't necessarily meet all criterias, but it has a very nice risk to reward basis. If Mullen even dilutes you, but if it becomes a fraction of what even Lucid is valued at right now, you're gonna make tens of thousands of dollars off a couple $100 investment. I like the risk to reward proposition there, and that's why I'm not selling out my stock. I sold covered calls. I made 100% profit. If Mullen closes under $5 by July, I'll make 100% profit. Get my initial investment back plus that profit. I will still own my stock, and it's something that could go crazy again once multiple expansion hits. And that could be a year, 2 years, whenever the Fed U-turns, that's when you'll see people willing to pay more for stocks again. Yo, I just watched the video. It is not fake. Yeah, that was good. I mean, I don't really see it getting pumped up too much, but there was a really good video that Zip Trader made on NILE, and I watched that, and that's what kind of because I had heard about it, I didn't look into it too much, but he did a pretty good job of going over a lot of it, the potential risk and reward there, and it makes sense to play it with options, but it's not something that I'm like 100% convinced about. G.I. Jane because she is sick and bald. Yeah, that's not cool. I mean, I would have slapped him too, so I would give him props for it. Learning the long game is how you win in the markets. Yeah, and I should take this opportunity to tell you guys, you know, I own a lot of other stocks. It's not just one. I don't own just AMC. I don't think that's a proper way to invest at all. But you know, I think it's gonna be really good at the same time. I have a lot of exposure in it, I should say. But yeah, to own other stocks you think will do good too is will always be encouraged by me. Yeah, futures actually bouncing a little bit, which is good, He serves nuggets and talks futures and AMC. Shout out to you, Eric Cuddle, baby. Retweet. Okay, let's see. There actually hasn't been much news over the weekend besides what Biden said. And how do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel about what Biden said? He says, we just need to get rid of Putin. Biden, I was not advocating for a change of regime in Russia. That's not what it sounded like, buddy. Not what it sounded like. Google? Oh, GOGL. Looping is a strong buy, in my opinion. Come on. Why is it taking forever to load? Jeez. Connection is ass. What about if AMC doesn't break 22? I think it will. I don't really think there's any way that it really won't, honestly. Monday before open, Xpeng, MindMed. I actually have 100 shares in MindMed just because, you know, it's one of those that could go crazy. So hopefully it does. But those are really the two big ones that report earnings tomorrow before open. So that'll be interesting. Dave & Buster's, that could be a good one. They are after hours. Lightning Motors? What? That's a thing? What is Lightning Motors? What the fuck is Lightning Motors? What's the ticker? ZEV? CEV. Lightning E-Motors. Huh. $438 million market cap. That might be an interesting one to watch, but They do report earnings. I'll go ahead and throw it in the watch these category. They do report earnings tomorrow. And if you guys do want to trade with us, join the trading group. Link should be in the description of this or in the last video. Link for that. Charles Gashbrand is so short he climbed a ladder to get into his car. That's funny. Yeah, I think it will though break 22. I think it's just one of those levels where, you know, it could take a minute. It might happen tomorrow, honestly. We might open up higher than that. Just raise development and manufacture of bamboo-based charcoal products operated through the following center consumer product trading and electric vehicle bamboo products. What? That's kind of wild. A $9 million market cap, and you're on. What? That's kind of crazy. $9 million market cap, and you're listed on the what? Nasdaq? What the hell is going on? I mean, the risk to reward proposition looks pretty damn good. Just knowing that $9 million market cap, you know, it's hella risky. It's in China, but $9 million market cap. How is that even right? I didn't even think you could be listed on an exchange with a $9 million market cap. That's an interesting one. Is r/short squeeze a pump and dump Reddit thread? Probably. I mean, you know, you never know who's really paid to talk about what. Like that's what a lot of people do is they're paid promoters, and they'll talk about a stock. They get paid to talk about it, and that's that, you know. And it happens a lot. It actually happens a lot. But yeah, back to earnings. Earnings Tuesday pre-market, nothing too crazy. After close, Micron. I have a trade on that. Should be good. Chewy, Lululemon, and Sundial. Wednesday pre-market, Five Below, Paychecks. It's BioNTech. After hours on Wednesday, nothing interesting there. Thursday pre-market, Walgreens, Boots Alliance, that could move. And then after hours, nothing really. BlackBerry, nothing really. But I definitely Micron. I think that could be very bullish. Dave and Buster's. We got some different companies. See, I kind of like this because these companies that aren't talked about too much, if they put up good numbers or a good announcement, they can move a lot. You never want to underestimate a lot of these smaller companies when it comes to earnings. But nothing too crazy. Nothing that's really going to move the markets in one direction or the other. Interesting. What are futures doing right now? Still down 0.32%. Chewy P is 1760. Oh, jeez. When's it squeezing? I mean, if history repeats itself, which it probably won't, but it might do something similar. You know, it looks like we're at a very important level. Like, you probably weren't here in the beginning of this, but you know, you have the same exact formation, almost the same exact. But if you put them side by side, there's very little difference from what you see now comparatively to what you see in January. And I think that's pretty important to point out because algorithms, they control a lot of the trading that actually goes on. You know, it's almost the same pattern. Come down, get a, you know, some rallies in there, a couple quick ones, and then you come down to lower lows, and then you make moves off of that lower low, and that's exactly what we're looking at right now. So it's not like I can sit here and say, you know, it's for sure going to come, but there is definitely a correlation here between what we're looking at. That's fine with me, but after hours sell in the morning, rinse, repeat. Yeah, NILE will drop significantly by 12 p.m. Yeah. I mean, wouldn't surprise me if it does, honestly. I don't have too much hope for it, honestly. But could be really good. Said didn't hear it from me. Well, if you know something, then let let me know. I will, man. I will keep it confidential. He's like, I know the guy. He's actually like my uncle. Yeah. About some options, like AMC, or just in general. 2024 put on fertilizer stock NTR. Check out that ripping chart. See, 2024 like leap puts are very hard to hit. Like that's got to be statistically when you're talking about naked options, the hardest thing to hit by far. Because things tend to go up over time. So and you end up paying a lot of premium for lots of put positions. But yeah, I mean I would definitely short it too. But they are the like a crazy high amount of potash and a couple key ingredients for fertilizer mostly come from Belarus and Russia. So there's a reason why it's going up, but does it deserve to go up this much? Probably not. Probably a if you got the stomach for it, it could be really good. But what are the leaps looking like? Usually they're just too expensive to make sense. Yeah, like something even at the money will only give you a break even of $83 and you have to pay $1,600, almost $1,700 to get that. If I was honestly going to play puts on it, I would probably I don't know. That's tough. There's something fundamental there to support it. I don't know. I would probably steer clear or just get a little bit of exposure. But the premiums are pretty expensive. Unless you go like 3 weeks out, which is probably not a good idea. Good morning from the UK. Oh, there we go. AMC May or June. I like getting exposure here. Yeah, I'm actually shorting Germany as well. GSC. What's the ticker on it? But they're older trades. EWG. Yeah, I think this one could be good, but EWG, you're off a little bit, but yeah, Germany can be hit pretty hard from all of this. And Biden said just a couple weeks ago that or maybe like a week ago, last week I believe, that Europe, I think he slipped up saying it, but Europe can only last about another month. He was saying like Putin thinks Germany can't hold out, or Europe can't hold out, that Europe at least can hold out a month or two, or whatever he said exactly along those lines. Kind of snitching, I guess you could call it. But it's definitely very risky. Like it's very risky. It's not a risk-free trade. It's very risky still. You know, if the war in Russia Ukraine does come to an end, the trade's dead pretty much. You know, everything would get a solid rally. That's why I really don't trust what we're seeing right now. I hope you guys realize this. Nothing has fundamentally changed. And the markets, seeing a move like this, they're pricing in good news. This is not because of the Fed came out and said we're expecting to raise rates 7% in a year, and markets were like, yeah, great, wonderful, let's buy stocks again. No, you're seeing a short squeeze, and you're seeing the markets pricing in some form of good news, an end to the conflict in Russia and Ukraine. Something is being priced in that is bullish. But yeah, until something fundamentally changes, the war ends, you know, inflation comes down, the Fed doesn't have to raise rates as much, earnings impress. Unless those things happen, I can't be bullish on the markets at 452 on the SPY. I was expecting a rally, maybe up to 440, but this extra boost here has got me lost. You know, it's pricing in too much good news. The markets always overshoot too, just so you guys know. The markets price in too much bad news. That's why I was bullish before the Fed meeting. Markets are now pricing in too much good news. That's why I'm bearish now. It's that simple. You know, what's the situation actually look like? What's the fundamentals here? What's the market pricing in? And they're pricing in too much good news. So when you get that good news, it might actually be an adverse reaction because it's already priced in. Anybody ever sip on a sequel all natural with melatonin in it? Buy calls on that? Thought you had a 1 hour delay? No, I didn't think so. Dang, Wolf was correct, no idea, but I wish already. It'll squeeze. I mean, I personally think like the end of fall, but you could get these new legs up and kind of hold a level. Like it doesn't have to be a move up and then straight back down. That doesn't have to be the case. It's possible we could squeeze here in the next couple of weeks. I might be wrong with my end of summer fall estimate, but if we squeeze now, then I mean, you'll be happy because sure, I mean, you made money, but the liquidity situation would be showing its hand that it's actually much worse than expected. So you're not expecting a good week? I expect a good week for AMC, not really for the broad markets. I think it's going to be pretty sporadic, right? It's going to revolve around headlines. There's a lot of data that comes out, like PCE and OPEC. So a lot of things that are going to affect possibly the Fed's decision on doing a 0.5% rate hike or a 0.25% rate hike. Because the Fed, they don't really look at CPI, they look at PCE, producer consumer expenditures. I believe that's what that stands for. That's what they look at. So that comes out on Wednesday. But the good news, whatever good news is coming, has been priced in. There's too much bad news to sit here and say, we're good now. And it all comes down to markets pricing things in. They're pricing in good news. And you've seen a lot of shorts covering as well as very low volume. the volume has been very low. People like took a break. Spring break kicked in. Look at the volume candles. Like this was the high point, over 100 million for volume almost every single day. Now, look at what we were at last week. 88 million for the 21st on Monday. 88 million, 74 million, 79 million, 64 million, 77 million. Before that, we were, 95, 116, 164, 137, 114, 117, 137, 145, 121, like 213, and I'm talking millions here. Volume has dropped off dramatically, very dramatically. So there's not a lot to be bullish about right now. I mean, unless the war in Ukraine ends tomorrow, then I'll be completely wrong here, and I'll admit I was wrong. But unless something happens that changes fundamentally, I am not going to be getting any more bullish exposure right now. I have stocks. They'll do their thing. I'll make more money if the markets do go up. But everything I've learned in the past 5 years is telling me this is a very bad time to be buying calls in the markets. But, I mean, AMC doesn't exactly have to directly correlate with the markets. It does to a certain extent, like we've seen over the last 2 weeks, right? AMC has had very green days when the markets were red. Sometimes on a minute-to-minute candle, right? If the markets take a big move down, AMC might take a smaller move down, but it's not really that. Markets are down 2%, AMC's down 5 or 10 anymore. That's not really what we're seeing. So bad for the markets doesn't necessarily have to mean bad for AMC, if that makes sense. But it's going to be very sporadic at the same time. I don't think it's going to be all red days or all green days until we get some new data point. And, I think one of the big questions is as well that after the Fed, think about this. The markets were expecting 7 rate hikes. We got 7 rate hikes. Now the markets, since the Fed, are expecting a 0.5% rate hike. Are the markets really realizing that? Are like the federal funds rate projection shows that, but do the markets actually realize that is coming? I don't exactly think so. You haven't seen many people talking about that. Like even if you watch CNBC or Fox Business or anything else, it's not really a focal point for people right now. Granted, it is 5 weeks away, but people just tell you what you want to hear. People tell you what you want to hear. That's the simple truth. That brings views. Anything that really sparks emotion, honestly, brings views and attention. And I'm talking for the broad markets here. I'm not talking about AMC specifically. And you can see 72.7% chance of a 0.5% rate hike coming May 4th. And that's going to bring more fear back into the markets. There's no way that you see an all-time high here with all of this, all these problems in the markets. This is a bear market rally. And they can look just like this. Right, you're going pretty much straight down, huge rally, come up, test levels, and then go back down to lower levels. That doesn't always have to happen like that, but I think it's very unlikely here that we get the Fed slowing down, inflation coming down in a meaningful way, at least not in the next reading, which is April 12th is the next CPI reading. That's going to be high. So the next one after that is going to be early May, around the time we get the Fed meeting. So that's when I would expect possibly to see some bullish reaction, right? The markets will overprice in a 0.5% rate hike. They'll likely bounce. If we go into the Fed meeting in May and the markets are ripping, yeah, I would stay pretty clear of any bullish activity there. But that's down the line. That's not talking about right now. War in Russia and Ukraine ends, I will be bullish on the markets. I will be more bullish on the markets. Inflation, that's not going to tick down here for the next 5 or 6 weeks. The Fed is only going to get more aggressive. Earnings are likely to disappoint. And, supply chains are likely to get worse too. I can add that one in there because China just shut down like half of one of their major cities. I believe, and it's not really being talked about all too much. What city is it though? I don't know what city it is. I guess it doesn't. Oh, the city of Shanghai will be locked down in 2 stages over 9 days while authorities carry out COVID-19 testing. So this is likely to, add to supply chain fears. So yeah, lots of that going on. What do you think of hedging AMC with married puts? I mean, I don't really hedge out my trade positions like that. If I'm in a trade, I'll either do like a stop loss, right? Basically, how everybody a basic way to hedge out a position. Just make sure it don't go against you, or just simply buy puts or sell calls. That's the best way to really hedge something out, or even do put debit spreads on positions. Like if you have lots of shares of AMC, you think it's going to go down, then you could do a put debit spread or something like that. Not financial advice, but there's a lot of ways. I don't really hedge AMC, or I don't really hedge other things like that. Honestly, this is personally, I like shares. Yeah, definitely. Shares, it's very hard to lose on shares if you have a long-term outlook. Honestly, buy shares, don't give them premium on these options. Yeah, that dude is correct. Tesla comes down to my strike price I'm buying. Yeah, Tesla is I mean, I like Tesla. It is expensive. I think they will perform. But I had an opportunity to get in when it was so cheap. So I kind of just cry that one out. And yeah. Good night, Tyler and Ling Ling. Ling Ling. She's so cute. Thank you. Good night, brother. Thoughts on microchips? I hear we may too short on Nia to cut chips. I mean, the chips on what was it? Was it Friday? Thursday or Friday? All chips were doing very well. So I you know, I have to be bullish on chips, especially with the geopolitical situation going on. Chips will be in a more and more demand, I guess, if you want to call it that. I wouldn't bet against them. Put it like that. Kamikaze Cash and Wall Street best is infiltrated by feds and hedge funds. Fact. Yo, you think SoFi is green tomorrow? Do you know Max Payne? We can look. SoFi. I have a lot of shares in SoFi too. SoFi Max Payne is $9.50. But I mean, SoFi revolves around the Fed and the market's expectations so much because they have so much of their business in lending. So it's really hard to think like what will how it'll move, because it's really hard to tell what the markets are gonna finally want to entertain and price in as far as that's concerned. But the federal funds rate is projecting 0.5% rate hike in May. So if the markets have priced that in already, which it doesn't seem like they really have, then it could be a more smooth sailing ahead. But that $10 level on SoFi is the one that's really important. I mean, it's pretty hard to break out of that right now. $10 is like that level where we just can't get a break. So we'll see. I don't have any specific opinions on it, but it's already beaten down so much, and the insiders are buying so many shares of SoFi. It's ridiculous. Like, look at this. Look at the insiders of SoFi. It makes me very confident buying SoFi at these levels. Like, if there's anybody that knows what's going on with the business, it's the insiders. And when they're buying SoFi stock like this, you better take notice. Look at all these buys. I think there was one sell in here. Did I see one sell? No, I don't think so, actually. Yeah, lots of buying. Lots of buying. Anybody else here married? I am not. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here too so I can get my ass up at 8:30. So thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. Love all of your beautiful souls. Yeah. Remember when I was hoping to buy SoFi under 14? Yeah, me too. I bought a lot around 15. So I've been buying it a little bit more recently. But nonetheless, futures, quick look. And they're actually coming up a little bit. Oil is still clapped. So that would suggest we would see a bullish reaction in equities. You usually do have that opposite correlation as far as recently. But who knows? All I know is Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. So I'm going to go ahead and sleep on that. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. Get your free stocks down below and come join the trading group if you have not already. But yeah, that's it. And I will see you tomorrow. Peace out.